This is awesome. With the message, you ain't getting in the club, pal. Emergency room, main entrance. Dr. Doolittle's bouncing. He's gatekeeping the entrance to the hospital.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Dr. Doolittle, come on, I'm sick. Let me in.
So this is a video I wasn't sure I was going to make, but after the H3 podcast episode and Jake's silent response, I just had to talk about this. Jake Doolittle is a YouTuber I've criticized before in the first episode of my series, Idiot Influencers. I went after him for his boring content, how he adds nothing to the subjects he talks about, being overly sensitive, and for multiple instances of being a hypocrite. And now much of these points have been exacerbated tenfold in his latest video, Ethan Klein, Harmful or Hypochondriac. This is meant to be a hit piece on Ethan Klein, meant to raise awareness for his charity Never Stop, but it had the opposite reaction he intended, as his usually supportive fanbase turned on him and rightfully called him out for his bad faith arguments. Jake's main criticism of Ethan stems from a running gag on the H3 podcast. Ethan thought he might have lupus, as he displayed some symptoms of it. When this turned out not to be the case, he began making jokes about his health anxiety, as any comedian would. Jake claims Ethan faked everything in the first place for sympathy donations, trying to invalidate his real-life health scare that he was being openly vulnerable about on the show. This is just really stupid. I'm not a fan of Ethan, in fact I'm critical of him, as seen in my iDubbbz documentary. But this is the lamest thing you can go after him for. Jake is essentially trying to gatekeep chronic illness because he thinks he has authority over that.
On June 16th, 2023, Ethan live streamed an episode of his show, The H3 Podcast. The episode was going fine until Ethan said something unexpected.
This morning, it was going fine until Ethan started opening up, being vulnerable about his scary medical issue.
Lying.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, that morning, I was legit really anxious. And that's why I brought it up, because I was like, I have to be true to myself and talk about this because it's so much on my mind.
Jake himself says he has Lyme disease, and uses it as both a shield and an argument point for this video. Jake is policing Ethan's health anxiety, because he himself is very defensive over this topic, but instead this comes off as him being easily offended over it. His video is basically just 45 minutes of him trying to explain a joke he will never understand, and despite him being a former fanboy of H3, he doesn't seem to get many of the other running gags on the podcast. He goes after Ethan for mispronouncing medical terms, yet this is something he does all the time.
This also adds to my claim of Ethan searching his labs and not hearing the results from an actual doctor due to the mispronunciation.
I even read...
Due to the mispronunciation, that is the most unprofessional way to deduct a conclusion from a situation.
So,
Because you couldn't say it right, you didn't actually see a doctor.
it's insane.
That's insane.
Well, and the truth is, Jake, most of my correspondence, which I read on the show, were with my doctors.
Mm-hmm.
So they wrote it out to me, okay? And I think I read all of my doctor messages, or at least most of them.
Mm-hmm. I think also reading something not correctly is a condition. So
I have dyslexia.
are you like aware of that one?
Says who?
Definitely ableism.
No.
I also find it funny how Jake goes after Ethan for his sarcasm about getting medical information off ChatGPT, when it's clear Jake got all of his info off Google. It's like he thinks he's a doctor or something. Dr. Doolittle, the world's most annoying medical professional. Overall, this video is a nitpicky mess, where he cuts out crucial information to make Ethan look bad. He purposely doesn't mention Ethan donating lots of money to fans going through medical issues, since he felt bad for those actually going through it.
So I guess that's it. I have spent 4 months gathering information
4
on
months?
Ethan and
4 months
Oh
gathering
my god!
information.
And there's so much missing.
Well, like, it's just such a self-own to say that, because every single thing he took, he misinterpreted, took out of context, gave it the worst bad faith, and omitted lots of shit, like calling me like a classist and then not acknowledging that I donated money to people. You know, according to you, you know all of that, and you chose not to put it in the video.
Again, there are many things to criticize Ethan for, but this is the lamest reason to go after him. You would think a breadtuber would go after him for his fallout with Hassan Piker, but no, it's gatekeeping lupus, a disease Jake doesn't even have. This was obviously done in poor taste, and his fans didn't like that one bit. Most of the hate Jake got was from his own fanbase, but he'll tell you otherwise. He thinks it's only the H3 fans, going after Jake to defend their man. Well, Jake, I haven't been an H3 fan in 4 years, so what's your excuse now? As soon as he posted the announcement, his fans were warning him not to post the full video. He ignored this and did so anyways. It got way more dislikes than likes, and most of the comments were very level-headed explanations for why they didn't like the video. In response, Jake began deleting comments, including one from fellow breadtuber Ryan Beard. Mr. Beard posted about it on Twitter, along with screenshots. He said, "From what I can see, it seems like Ethan is a hypochondriac, and is using humor to cope with his hypochondria. I also suffer from hypochondria, and it would really suck to have someone make a video like this attacking me if I vented about my health anxiety on the internet. All of your criticisms that Ethan doesn't know what he's talking about are common of health anxiety. You spend hours scouring the internet for possible diagnosis and come to irrational conclusions about your health. That's why health anxiety is classified as a mental disorder. I agree with you that sometimes people can accidentally cause harm while venting about their health anxiety, but it doesn't seem like you're showing any empathy or consideration for that very real distress that health anxiety can cause. I understand that you have a history of chronic illness, but if you don't have a history of health anxiety, it's unlikely that you can truly empathize with what Ethan is going through, which I think is causing you to have a very biased take on what Ethan is experiencing and assuming bad intentions, when it doesn't seem to me like Ethan has any malicious intent. In the future, I recommend trying to have a more nuanced approach when discussing people experiencing health anxiety." Jake decided to post his video the day the podcast went on break, and when it returned, Ethan posted a teaser showing Jake's face. Jake responded, begging for this to stop. He says he's been getting death threats and had to go to the hospital over this. This is Jake trying to gain some last minute sympathy, knowing Ethan isn't going to go easy on him. And while death threats are horrible, as Ethan points out himself on the podcast, many big creators get them. It's not an excuse for your horrible behavior, nor does it justify anything either. Plus the video was still up. He did not feel any remorse for it. He only deleted it once Ethan had it pulled up during the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, you're a public figure. You're gonna get psycho. I mean, has anyone here on the crew not gotten a death threat at one point?
That's my other thing too. It's like, yeah, dude, we
A dime a dozen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not saying it's okay. People
Not
that
saying
do
it's
that are
okay.
nuts and fuck them. But
Yeah.
it's also like that doesn't absolve you of anything because that happened to you.
And
Sorry.
again, I
It's
didn't
like-
even say anything. He goes, "Please make it stop." Oh, you know what it was? He saw me talking about it right now, and I said, "The video's still up on your channel." So maybe he thinks he's done everything he can.
Ethan had a backup though, and he spent 3 hours totally demolishing Jake. Ethan is rightfully pissed at him, as he was attacked over his health problems. Jake also went after Ethan's mom, which really set him off.
But no, she does. I'm sure she wishes she didn't. It's been challenging for her. Jake, you scumbag loser. What would you know about it?
She had a whole health scare that was actually documented on our channel
Such a little scumbag.
a few years ago.
How dare you? How dare you even talk about my mom like this?
He's nuts.
You fucking bitch.
Jake should have known this would happen. He's not some innocent little guy. Many of his videos are him shitting on other people. Now that the person he's going after fought back, he claims innocence. The same thing happened with the Orange Peanut drama, but now it's at a more extreme extent. Jake is a fucking loser who can't handle the smallest bit of hate, yet dishes it out any chance he can. Ethan has a toxic fanbase, and Jake knew that, but he has this hate boner for Ethan, as he used to be a fan up until a few months ago. So why did Jake make the video in the first place? Well, because he's bitter that Ethan never hired him. Jake was very publicly gushing about H3H3, and even got a chance to call into the show. Apparently the management for the D'Amelio sisters didn't pay Jake for the photos he took of them. Ethan pitied the little boy, so he offered him $500. Jake said to keep the $500 if Ethan would look at his resume. Internally, Ethan groaned, but he said yes anyways.
Stay on the line. I'm going to send you $500 because the D'Amelio family didn't.
Stop it.
The D'Amelio family didn't pay you $500. I'm going to pay because they're cheap fucking freaks.
It's like a Romeo
or their
Juliet.
team, or their team is.
Well, yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. So you stay on the line, okay?
Thank you very much.
I'm going to make you whole.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
If you look over my resume, can you keep your $500?
Stay on the line. Are you in LA?
He did say he was subscribed.
I'm not in LA. I'm remote, but love
You're in
killing it out
Maine,
of
bro.
Sweden. I bet you I could kill it.
Okay, so stay
I
on
bet
the
you I
line.
could
I'm going to
kill
give you
it
the
out of Maine, I
500.
promise you.
I'm going to give you the 500 to make you whole. And remember, D'Amelio family, Ethan pays on time.
That's right.
And also send your resume. Stay on the hold. We'll get both, okay?
Ethan never hired him because, well, there's nothing special about him. He's a talentless breadtuber who would only be able to work remotely, since he doesn't live in LA. In this hit piece, Jake claims this call happened recently, but it happened in September 2021. That's 2.5 years ago, Brainiac. For years after this, Jake obsessively DM'd H3 crew members, wanting to collab or appear on the podcast again. These were mostly ignored, though AB did briefly talk to Jake. Jake offered to take photos for AB at Creator Clash, which he denied. Jake went out of his way to find AB after the fight, and later begged him to collaborate in a video.
Jake Doolittle, this is him spamming your Twitch chat.
Yeah, so you can't delete Twitch chat messages.
That's
so I was
awesome.
able to look him up because I would. So what he would do also is he would donate, like so that I had kind of more forced me to respond.
Yeah.
When he would send messages, so he kept saying, "Come on my channel."
Here's this. Jake Doolittle. Come on my channel, please. Who's this to?
This is to me.
So this is to, okay. Come on my channel, please. This is me reminding you to come on my channel. Excuse me. Are you doing videos with people now? Girl, I love, did you keep him on red?
I didn't accept it. I don't
You're such
think.
a legend.
A lot
I
of
love
these,
that.
A lot of these, the crew didn't even see them until
Yeah.
the situation.
Right.
They went and checked
Yeah, I
their-
went and looked.
I'm pissed. Fucking guy didn't even message me.
He didn't message me.
Yo.
Fuck, dude.
You got
What the
FOMO
fuck,
about it?
Jake? I thought we're boys, man.
He didn't message me.
AB reluctantly agreed, and appeared in some boring-ass video where they reacted to TikToks. AB doesn't mention anything about H3 in this video, and guess what? Jake refers to him as his pal.
Hi sisters, today I'm doing a video with my pal, AB.
Hello. How's it going?
You know, it's going great, man. I'm so happy to have you here. I've wanted to do a video with you for a while.
I'm new to doing this whole YouTube collab type thing, if that's what you'd call it, but
Sure.
yeah.
This is borderline stalker behavior, which Ethan calls out to a great extent.
Well, hold on. How did he find you at the hotel? That was the part that I found out.
Oh, yeah, no. The first Creator Clash, because it was a new thing, we didn't have all the security there that we should have, and so fans were finding out where we were staying and like waiting there all night in the lobby just for people to walk by. And he was one of the people that I saw there. I'm guessing he just found out that's where it was, or maybe he got a badge.
A badge?
Like a photography badge. Maybe he knew someone else. I know he knows some other YouTubers. Probably the same shit he did with us, where he said, "Oh, I'm friends with this person." Like when he reached out to me, he's like, "Oh, I believe you're gonna show the messages." But he at one point was like, "Oh, you just had on Curtis Connor, who's a friend of mine, so you need to come on my channel." And he just made it seem like he's really close with all these guys. I don't know if he is or not, but
It took Jake years to figure out these guys don't want to play with him, so he decided to go after them any way he can. He's like Syndrome from The Incredibles, though at least Syndrome almost succeeded in his plan.
I only wanted to help, and what did you say to me?
Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
It tore me apart, but I learned an important lesson. You can't count on anyone, especially your heroes.
Jake prefixes the video by saying it's going to promote his charity, Never Stop. According to the website, it claims, Never Stop is a charity for the diagnosed, the misdiagnosed, and everything in between. Our goal is to provide financial assistance to people in long-term financial and physical crisis. And while part of me thinks it's great that Jake is trying to do good, another part of me wonders if this is just to make himself look good. I know that sounds awful to say, but hear me out. I'm not saying this charity is a fraud, but that he uses it as a shield from criticism. Oh, you think I'm horrible for making that Ethan Klein video? Well, it's for charity! I'm helping people by shaming his health anxiety. There's barely anything on the site besides a donate page, a form to apply for assistance, and merch to buy. This is the bread and butter of the site, the merch. Jake claims 10% of his profits will go to the Never Stop Fund, but why only 10%? For merch meant to promote charity, we would think more of it would go to that charity. And I get that there's like production costs and stuff, but it's 10%. You think it'd at least be 50%? And this merch isn't cheap either. It costs $15 to get a small ass ornament, $30 for a hat, and $65 for a simple sweatshirt. This 10% value is not mentioned at all on the website, just at the end of a few of his videos.
Also, if you feel like it, you can donate to the Never Stop Fund. 10% of all profits from the clothing brand go into the fund, so either way, you're helping people out.
There's not much else on the site either. Not even any proof that this money has been given to those in need. There's no photos or any confirmation that I can find, but if there is any, please let me know. I'm not completely dismissing that notion. A post on Reddit also mentions Jake pressuring fans on a live stream to buy $50 worth of merchandise for a chance to get a refund and free order.
The next person to place a Never Stop order under $50, I'll refund it. As long as it's under $50, the next person to place an order on Never Stop, I will refund it. Don't miss out. Okay?
This to me is also pretty sketchy. The post claims, to be clear, this has nothing to do with the merch not being tax deductible. That is normal. For one is making a purchase opposed to a donation. Usually charities would calculate any costs, like administration, production, and transaction fees, before turning profit, thus being able to say 100% of the profits go to charity. Now I'm going to give Jake the benefit of the doubt and say nothing here is malicious. He's definitely not experienced at doing charities, and is making loads of mistakes. I legitimately hope he fixes this and is more open with the changes. It still rubs me the wrong way that he's using this charity as an excuse to cause needless drama. It makes it seem like an ego boost, meant to make his reputation stronger. This is the case for many breadtubers, who try to present themselves as wholesome, quirky people who stick up for others. In reality, many of them are vindictive, spiteful people, who will backstab their friends for internet clout.
Well, if anybody's profiting off lupus, it sure ain't me, buddy.
Well, it was dropped when ad revenue was the highest.
True.
December.
And also, again, as subs go up, people mentioned that he does have a merch thing that has the same name as his charity, Keep Going or whatever. And he doesn't disclose it upright. I don't know if he discloses it anywhere. He says it's for awareness, but of the merch, he donates only 10%.
What?
And it has the name of the nonprofit charity on it.
That's very
So
inappropriate.
I think a lot of people that go to that probably assume that their purchase is going towards the charity.
Right.
So my boy is getting some guacamole out of this lupus scandal. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
I would call that false advertising.
Allegedly. We like to allege things here, don't we?
Oh, yes.
I don't imagine I'll make another video on this guy unless something else big happens. In fact, I wasn't even going to make this video until the H3 podcast episode came out. Jake is a clown, a true hypocrite, with loose morals that he switches at a moment's notice to make himself seem like the better person. He will never change, and I honestly can't imagine him having a strong comeback of any kind. His own fans are against him, finally noticing what I noticed many months ago. But I'm sure I'll get a few baseless hate comments defending Jake, like from this retard, who left 30 comments trying to shit on anyone who slightly disagreed with them. If there's anything I got wrong in this video, please let me know in the comments below. There's bound to be something I missed. Thanks for watching. Bye.
The other reason that we suspect lupus...
Wait!
Bro, you could have condensed this video a lot, dummy. Like, this whole middle section is just you being like, lupus, ChatGPT, lupus, he said this. Shut up, bitch! At least learn how to make a good video. That's why nobody's watching your shit, dude. Because your shit sucks. You're boring.